Alrighty, welcome to today's episode of Maverick Media. Today we're going to be talking about the events that happened last week and the events that happened in the beginning of this week. And now I know how many of you do not like politics, but today I'm going to bring up history. The history of a man that many of us, and if not all of us, know under this new current administration of Trump. But I'm going to save that for later towards the end. So, we've got all kinds of fun stuff and goodies for you today. We're going to be talking about the meeting Trump had with Zelensky. We're going to be talking about Trump's AI video. And we're also going to be talking about Marco Rubio's call for $4 billion to Israel without the need of Congress. Coming up on today's episode, stay tuned. Alrighty, here we are. We're all set up, ready to go. I hope you will enjoy today's video, and I hope you will also look forward to more of these videos as they continue to come out. And your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, all of that is very much appreciated. And I don't know how long this is going to last, but that kind of depends on you, on if you want me to keep this going or not. So again, thank you. Now, without too much to do, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to be talking about the meeting that Trump had with President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. And as many of us know, that did not get anywhere, and it just led to arguing and debating back and forth. And, it didn't achieve anything. I mean, it did make some pretty good memes, though, I will say that, and also gave business to big media outlets. And even Trump said, like, in the argument, like, oh, this is going to make TV, and yep, sure did. So Zelensky was pretty upset, because he no longer is getting fed his drug that he was receiving for such a long time by America. And it's hard for him to get off of it. So he went back to Europe and he ran to Great Britain and gave a hug to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister made a speech and was saying that, yeah, we're gonna support him, we're gonna fight with them, and we're gonna put boots on the ground, we're gonna put jets in the skies. But there was something he said that I thought was kind of funny. He said, "But we need U.S. compliance." Just thought that was funny. Basically, what he's saying was we need U.S. permission, and that's the way it has been in the EU for so long. They're bought off by the US. They're bought off by NATO. And America uses the EU, uses Europe as kind of like a scapegoat to do their dirty work. And like it was even, I believe, the former Russian ambassador to the US who said, like, oh yeah, this is a hybrid war where we are really fighting America, but they're just fighting us through Ukraine. And again, it's been that way since, for sure, post-World War II. Everyone wanted to be a part of NATO. Ukraine most likely wants to be part of NATO. And what I find funny is that, Ukraine has stated, like, well, we're fighting for our sovereignty. Well, what's the point of having sovereignty when you're just going to give that up to NATO, when you're just going to end up giving it up to the U.S. anyways? Trump wants to go into Ukraine and just kind of like, no, leave it alone, get out of there. That's probably the best foreign policy. Let them pound each other to the dust, and let's just stay out. But nobody wants to apply that kind of foreign policy anymore. And that may sound harsh. And well, if that's the case, then our founders were harsh, because that's where I get that idea from. But anyways, he wants to go there and harvest minerals, and Zelensky was like, no, Ukraine's not for sale. It's just like, well, if you join NATO, then, well, you sold Ukraine. But again, and like, Europe is owned by the US, it's owned by NATO, and NATO has another drug of its own. It has created so many wars. Why NATO is partly responsible why we've been fighting in the Middle East for so long, not only because we did it for Israel, but also, NATO was one of the reasons why we got involved down there. But that's a video for another time. But anyways, something I wanted to bring out was that uh, so many conservatives and so many made a fit under Biden's administration when he would unlawfully, unconstitutionally send billions of dollars to Ukraine without the approval of Congress. You heard so many conservatives make a fit about that, and rightfully so. But what I find so funny and so interesting is that when we have a Republican now, when we have a Republican majority in the White House, it's funny how they can get away with it. And they do. Marco Rubio, Secretary of the State, invoked emergency authorities to bypass Congress in order to send $4 billion of weapons to Israel. And he said it was an emergency. I'm like, an emergency of what kind of emergency? It's not like there was some kind of October 7th or anything. In fact, from what I just last heard, Israel cut off aid to Gaza, medical aid, food, water, electricity, and we're supposed to be led that they're not trying to kill civilians, or we're led to believe that they are the most moral army on earth, but then they go ahead and pull a stunt like that. But anyways, I just find that so funny. Why is it we feel like we got to stay true to the law, but yet the law becomes silent whenever it comes to Israel. Somehow that doesn't matter, which is unconstitutional, unlawful, and it's ridiculous. So thinking of Israel, this is kind of going to lead me on to the next topic that I just kind of wanted to cover on a little bit, was Trump's AI video. He shared this AI video on Truth Social, a video that looked like it could have been made by some teenager in his parents' basement. And no, this studio is not in my parents' basement. But anyways, this video was basically mocking Trump, it was mocking Musk, and it was mocking Benjamin Netanyahu. And the fact is, Trump liked it and he shared it. And I think it really just goes to show his mindset and what his desire and his dream is for Palestine, for the Gaza Strip. And he does want to turn it into some kind of Vegas. It is what he wants. But this is nothing new. This has been a plan, I think, for a long time. There's many out there who say like this idea of deporting Palestinians is a new thing. It's a new idea and it's fresh, but it really isn't. This is something the Palestinians have been doing since 1948, since before they even became a state. They've always, have had a habit of ethnically cleansing Palestine in one way or another. And they have some kind of excuse. There's always some kind of excuse. They're always, the victims, and then that way it justifies it. And they can get away with it. And somehow they can get away with killing 60,000 Palestinian lives. And all this rhetoric about pro-life, all this rhetoric about family values and faith and America first and all of that. For sure the pro-life and family and faith, all that, somehow like Americans are supportive of that and want to respect that, and they have supposedly President Trump is the type that is going to respect that, but somehow that does not apply to Palestinians somehow. And same with right to self-defense. You'll always hear Americans talking about their right to self-defense, and sure, they have that, and yes, that is a right. And they'll always talk about, well, Israel, they have a right to self-defense as well. Yeah, that's true, but okay, does that apply to the Palestinians? No. And somehow it doesn't. And so this has just always been the way it is. Certain things apply, certain things do not. And it was just the whole plan. Everything is just disgusting. It's heartbreaking. It's cruel. And again, just what we're supposed to be, just what they're trying to, what we're supposed to be led to believe is just crazy. The devastation that we can see Gaza has went through, with the aerial footage just after the ceasefire, just really did reveal just how much destruction Israel poured into Gaza. And we're supposed to be led to believe that Hamas was somehow in every single one of those buildings. But again, the fact is they failed. They killed more civilians than they did Hamas, and I don't know if that was their goal or not. But then once there was the ceasefire agreement, you see Hamas coming out of their holes and their tunnels, and that's just gotta hurt, knowing that, okay, you did all that damage, you killed all those lives, you would expect Hamas to be defeated, but they aren't. So in the beginning of the video, I said I would bring up the history of a man who many of us know, especially under this new current administration of Donald Trump. And I'll start by reading this article that I read last week, and I just thought it was pretty shocking. And I think you'll be shocked too, or you should be. And it was written back in 2021. And without further ado, I'll just go ahead and get into it. Here it is. On October 13th of 1940, a Regina chiropractor named Joshua Halterman appeared in city court to face 2 charges under the Defense of Canada Act. His alleged offense was belonging to Technocracy Incorporated, an organization that had been banned by the Canadian government several months earlier as part of a larger sweep of groups it considered subversive to the war effort. Technocracy Incorporated was not a political movement. In fact, politicians or members of political parties were not allowed to join. It was founded in New York City in 1939 as an educational and research organization promoting a radical reconstruction of political, social, and economic life in Canada and the United States, with science as its central operating principle. So, before I continue, do you remember the press conference at Mar-a-Lago a few months ago when Trump was talking about how he would like to have Canada join as a state of America? And when he was saying he wants to, take control of Panama, he wanted to take control of Greenland and rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, to which he did. Now, at first I thought, okay, it kind of sounds cool. But then after thinking about it, looking into it and reading about it, I realized, no, not possible, not a good idea. Canadian society, Canadian culture is entirely different from ours. Their interests are entirely different from ours. And I don't believe they would have any respect or any willingness to obey and follow the United States Constitution as their law of the land. And it could very well create some kind of immigration problem, and then drive prices up here in America. And that would not be good. We do not need that. And also that many of them were they were terrible during COVID. Many of them are for gun control. And again, it would be basically annexing a bigger California. Not a good idea, and definitely something we do not need more of. But anyways, so with that said, and after I had acknowledged that, then I realized, okay, so why is Trump wanting to pursue this? Why is this his goal? Isn't this something he can just put on the back burner? Why is he pursuing this? What is he being influenced by? This kind of sounds crazy. Where did he pick this idea up from? And let me go ahead and keep reading. Here it is. There would be no countries called Canada or the United States, just one giant continental landmass called the Technate, a techno-utopia run by engineers and other experts in their fields. In the Technate, everyone would be well housed and fed. All material needs would be taken care of whether you had a job or not. So it is most likely this is where Trump got his idea from, or this is kind of where he's coming from, or this is what he's like envisioning. But who is influencing him? Who gave him this influence? Where did he pick it up from? And to answer that question, let's keep reading from the article. Joshua Haldeman was a leader of Technocracy Incorporated in Canada from 1936 to 1941, but eventually became disillusioned with both the organization and the country and packed up his young family to start life anew in South Africa. In June of 1971, Haldeman's daughter Maeve gave birth to his first grandson. His name is Elon Musk. And no doubt, based on influence, this has got to be who it is. And it would make sense. And especially with the background, and especially with Musk's dream and what he wants to pursue and what he wants to see, the push for technology, the push for SpaceX, the push for going to Mars, the push for AI, and all of that. And obviously it was an influence. Musk has had an influence ever since their bromance started, for sure, like back in, was that July or August, when they got on X and started, chatting with each other, and, Hillary Clinton and, was making a fit about it and all of that. But ever since then, Musk has had quite the influence on Trump, because I think he really wanted a seat at the table, and he got it. He's now the head of Doge, and he's everywhere. You see him everywhere. He's at Trump's speeches. He's at Trump's inauguration. He's at Trump's State of the Union speech. I mean, he's just everywhere. He's at the press conference in the White House. And no doubt he is just, he's definitely got what he's wanted. He's gotten the position and the boost that he needs to pursue his dream and this vision he has for the United States, which is very dangerous. And I'll say, like, I'm not against AI. I'm not against technology, but it's just when you have people in government pushing it and determining what you're going to be able to buy, what you're going to be able to consume, what we're going to be able to do, what kind of jobs you're going to have, what kind of jobs you are not going to have. And I'll also bring this up, mention this. At the World Government Summit in Dubai in 2017, Elon Musk made the statement that mass unemployment will be a massive social challenge. And this was something his grandfather said many times. Now, and then Musk also said there will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. With automation will come abundance. Abundance for who? Abundance for consumers, abundance for the people of America that you seem to care about so much, or is it for the technocrats? Abundance for the technocrats, abundance for yourself, abundance for those in Washington. And unfortunately, I think it is the latter. Now, with all this said, and when I realized this, and when I had read this and studied this, and I was shocked and upset and very disappointed, very concerned as to where America is going, and very concerned because, we got a conservative in office, so a lot of this could be pushed very easily, and a lot of conservatives are probably, not going to say anything much about it. And I don't even think the left will say much about it, because they're most likely going to benefit from this as well. Because just think of Silicon Valley and whatnot. I think the plan, the dream to make like some kind of Silicon Valley land in America. And also, another thing to keep in mind is that not only is Musk a part of this, there's definitely some influence with Zuckerberg, Bezos, again, and Elon Musk. And there's some that I find interesting, because I don't know what you would call this organization or this type of corporation. If I can just find it here, because it's hard to put him in a box. Where did that go? I can just find it here. It's not showing up. Here it is. So again, this is in the article. Technocracy's ideology defies easy characterization. It was anti-capitalist and anti-democratic, but not fascist. It was anti-government, but not libertarian. It believed in a radical form of social and economic equality, but it was not Marxist. It rejected all these ideologies because none of them accepted the idea that science and technology were transforming North American life, and that only highly trained engineers and experts were capable of building a new America. So it's definitely a new type of tyranny. And I think it's looked upon, I think, as a very much an accepted tyranny. And we already know what this is like. We have seen this in the past 4 years, and now we're seeing it again with this push for science, this push for technology. That's what it was about during COVID. The push for science. They were trying to deceive us and feed us with this idea like it's the science. Look into the science, and trying to get us to accept that and feed us that. But none of that was true. It was not scientific. It was false. It was a lie. And so, again, I am very concerned as to where America is headed. Also, very concerned as to how many people are going to let this slip under their nose. And even though they can see the consequences of it, but they're not going to say anything because they've got a good government. They've got a good president. They've got their golden age. And they don't want to mess it up. They don't want to believe that they're actually headed towards another type of tyranny. And so this is something I will do another video, most likely. I'll do another video on this again because there's a lot to talk about it. This was obviously, I think, the main highlight of today. Let me know your thoughts if you were as shocked as I was. And I think I'm just going to stop it here. It is getting late. And I got to get this video out before it's too late. So thank you for watching. Please, again, let me know your thoughts. What your thoughts are on this. If you were shocked as I was, and again, thank you for watching. And just stay tuned for more. And we'll see where this goes. And I think we'll just go ahead and end it there. But again, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being able to do this. It was a pleasure having you watch this. Please like, please subscribe, and please comment. I want to know your thoughts, and it will continue another video on this or not. But again, very concerned as to whether or not the conservatives are just going to let this slip under their nose. Please let me know your thoughts as well. And stay tuned for more. And I hope I can do this week after week. Do these weekly reports and whatnot, and also do some history as well. Without any more talk, I think I'll just end it there. You guys have a good rest of your week, and thanks for watching.